everyone, thank you for tuning in. Today I'm doing a bouquet handle stem wrap, and I have some double face satin ribbon here that I'm going to measure the handle of the bouquet 3 times the length, and then I add about 2 to 3 inches, and that should give me pretty exact to the amount of ribbon that is needed to do this, depending on how tight you wrap, tightly together the wraps are on the stem there. But I'll find the back of the bouquet, and I'm just going to run the ribbon down the length of the bouquet handle, and then I'm going to make a backwards L and then tuck in the sides of the ribbon and give it a wrap. And I don't always get it on the first try, as you'll see here. Sometimes it just slides right off. So the double face satin ribbon is pretty slippery. So I did go ahead and wrap the handle of the bouquet in wax floral tape. I usually like to do this with a white colored wax floral tape, but I was out, so I just had to use the green, but it is what it is. If you use the white, it keeps it from showing through the ribbon. This is not really a concern for this type of ribbon because it's a little bit thicker, but I do like to use the white. Once I catch that bottom there, I'll go ahead and pull really tight. The key is to keep it pulled really tight as you go up the handle, twisting it around. And I'll speed it up a little bit here so you don't have to watch me pull tight and twist it around. But by creating that L at the bottom there, it's going to cover the very, very bottom of the bouquet handle. So you don't see all the wires from the artificial flowers or the silk flowers. And you don't have a worry of it poking through that way too. Once I get to the top, I'm going to pull real tight, and I'm going to give it a twist. And then I'm going to grab a corsage pin with the little pearl at the top there. I do like to trim these down. I didn't on this one. I knew that the bulk of the bouquet was thick enough that the pin's not going to poke through and hurt anyone. So I went ahead and left it nice and long there. I'm going to end up using 2 of them. This first one I just put in as is, and then the second one I'm going to add a little spot of glue on there and then push the pin in. And I was going to say on the bottom, if you can't get the ribbon tucked in on the sides, don't be afraid to use the corsage pin. I would way rather see a nice clean bottom of the bouquet that hides all the wires with a few little pearls holding the ribbon in place than actually have the wires showing through at the bottom. I feel like it gives a cleaner look. So I do have some fraying on the ribbon here. I'm going to trim away what I can with the ends of the ribbon. And then I'm taking a lighter, although it looks like a mini torch, it's just a lighter. And I'm going to very carefully just kind of warm up the ends of that ribbon, and that will keep it from fraying even more. Be super, super careful if you do this. You don't want to get too close to the bouquet. Some of the flowers are easily heatable, I guess. If you do have fraying on some of the silk flowers, you can use that same trick and just kind of clean up the edges of the silk flowers if you had some that were fraying. But again, be super, super careful. Do not get it too close. It doesn't need to be very hot, just enough to give it a little melt at the end to keep it from fraying. I'm not a huge fan of using hot glue with double face satin ribbon, but in this case I'm going to. I feel like the hot glue, at least for me, tends to show through, but I think if I keep it at a minimal, it will be okay on this one. And I'm just kind of putting it in key points. I'm not going to run it all over the bouquet handle to make sure the ribbon stays. I just couldn't see another way of doing this. When you had the satin on satin ribbon, it's just really super slippery, and I didn't want to slip all over, and I didn't want to use corsage pins because I'm already going to add some pearls and diamonds to it, and I didn't want it to distract. So long story short, use a little bit of glue, but I kept it just minimal, nice and flat to the ribbon there itself. I did a little fold over trick with the rose gold ribbon to try to hide the fraying, and this ribbon is a wired on the ends, so it did allow me to just give it a cut and bend it how I wanted it, and it would stay long enough for me to add that little dab of hot glue and hold it into place. With the wired ribbon, you do have to be careful. Sometimes the wires will poke a little further than the actual ribbon itself. Just want to be careful not to poke yourself, which I tend to do. So you don't want to be bleeding all over the bouquet. You definitely don't want to poke the user. So I took the time to fold everything over, make sure that none of that wire is going to come on through and hurt anyone. And again, this is all done on the back of the bouquet. I do like to have the back of the bouquet as pretty as the front, but at some point you got to have a seam, so put it in the back. And now I'm going to add a little bit of pearl and rhinestones, and I actually purchased this off of Amazon, this pearl and rhinestone ribbon, I guess, here. I'll put a link in the description if I can find it again, because it was last year. And I still had some left over that I thought was really pretty to use. So, but I'll put a link in the descriptions if you're wanting to purchase that yourself. But I am using just a little bit of hot glue to hold it in place. Again, seemed like the only option. I suppose you could use like a fabric glue, but it just doesn't dry quite as fast as a hot glue. So you would still have to pin it and it'd be a little bit messier. But just going around the top and the bottom of that rose gold ribbon. Again, the seams in the back, and I'm going to repeat it again on the bottom. And there are many different types of embellishments you could add. Like if you just wanted to add rhinestones, just glue them along there. If you wanted to just do pearls, you could do that too. I even seen something at Hobby Lobby that was made specifically for this. It was in their like wedding section, the his and hers section there, but they have all different types of bouquet handle wraps that you could add to it too. So it's just kind of a fun way of dressing up the bouquet, giving it a little extra special touch there. But there we go. It's a stem wrap on a bouquet with some embellishments, and there you go, all set. Thank you so much for watching.